Joyce Ahrens says, I wish there was a cure. You know what? Joyce found that cure. Joyce Ahrens, come on up. I met Joyce in Florida. This experience destroyed her family. She left her family, went looking for the truth. She left Missouri, ended up in Florida. The last night, very last episode of X-Files was on a Sunday night. I'm sitting there watching it. My buddy Billy Cox from the Florida Today newspaper, some of you might know the name, Guy mentioned him in his talk, had done a great article on the history of X-Files coming into the last show. And he made the mistake of putting not only my name, which I was okay with, but where I lived. Well, that enabled her to find me in the phone book. And I get this phone call about 30 minutes into my favorite show, the last episode. And my wife says, my wife answered the phone and says, I think you need to take this call. And I'm going, it's X-Files. And she says, no, I think you need to take this call. I did. For 45 minutes, interrupting my favorite show and the last one, Joyce is telling me all about being this special person, being an abductee. Well, as more and more time went on to me listening to her, the more I realized this ain't a happy woman. But she found me because I was MUFON, figured I had answers. She needed to share. And I said, you know what? We need to get together. We did. I shared with her what I had come across after I let her share her story. We were in a restaurant. I invited her to Neutral Ground. I went in there, shared with what I had. I could see she was getting agitated, touching things that she didn't want to hear. And she says, I got to go. I thought, okay, that's the last I'll see of Joyce. Joyce calls me a couple days later. She says, I want that. I had the opportunity inviting Joyce over to my home. She gave her life to Christ in my living room. I had the opportunity of working with Joyce for about 4 years, had her in my church, teaching her up what it is to be a believer. She put these entities and experiences in their place. She was working as a floral arrangement artist in one of the studios there in the area. She's on the way to work one morning, and that small, still voice told her to go to the beach. She's in her dress and heels and goes down, kicks her heels off, walks on the beach. That voice told her, go home. She went home to Missouri, back to her family. Didn't get preachy with them, just showed them that she wasn't who she was before. She had her life back. They didn't. They were still miserable, still believing all the lies of the entities, still following it. I had Joyce first give her testimony, just like this, 2003 at the Ancient of Days conference that Guy held here in Roswell. She's been here again 2008, last year 2009, and here she is again. We just recently had a talk that Guy and Nicole came to Florida. I invited them down. I've got DVDs with Guy and I doing these talks on DVD together. And I had Joyce come too. I let all the testimonies speak in that one. Not just come up and make themselves available, but actually speak. And Joyce made the comment, and it's on the DVD, my family's still walking the fence. That was November. She calls me in February. Says, you're not going to believe this. Her husband, when she got back in November, had already been diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer, and it was acting on him fast. He came to the truth, gave his life to Christ, actually had an encounter after he did. These entities didn't want him going to the grave with the truth. They tried to deceive him. He was having an experience And Joyce was there. And she was able to testify right here that Dan was able to rebuke these entities and put them in their place. Dan passed away just recently, but he's able to leave his testimony. His family's becoming healed. That video that's been playing 10 years, they don't have the rest of the story. This is the first time that you're able to see this publicly. Not just Joyce, who found it years ago, the truth, but also her husband. And we have his testimony to share. That's not all. You saw her son and daughter in that video, didn't you? Her daughter's still walking the fence. We're still waiting for her. But her son, Danny, he's here today too. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is living evidence of lives changed, destroyed by these creatures, brought back to normal lives, brought back to hope through the name and authority of Jesus Christ. The research shows, the documented evidence I have, that this works. No other name works. Not for a permanent effect. This name works. For some reason, they don't want this information out there. You ask them why not. These people wanted it. These people got it. These people can testify it's real. That's what this is about. Living evidence. The most powerful evidence showing casualties of a cosmic war, but they can be healed. This experience is not what it seems to be. This is also from David Allen Lewis. Guy quoted him earlier. In dealing with the mystery of UFOs, we are not on the lunatic fringe of theology. Instead,